welcome back to this new video. So in this video we'll be looking at how can we create an application which can help us to play the ringtone. So that application particularly have two buttons to play the ringtone and to stop the ringtone, and this application basically mean to understand the services. Now to create an application in JetCompose and Kotlin, we do have to open the Android Studio of course, and then you'll be getting like options there, new projects or open another project. So you'll have to click on new project. Once you click on a new project, you'll be getting this pop-up with the new project. There you have to select an activity. To select an JetCompose activity, you can see that the second I have already selected that. Here I have this empty activity. So wherever you can see this hexagonal type logo, you can select that one. And as we are creating an application for phone, so just select phone and tablet from the template. Now once you have selected the empty activity, you can click on a next and go ahead. So once you have clicked on a next, here it will ask you for the name, package name, and the location where you want to save the project. Also it will ask you for the minimum SDK, where your application will be supported from that to the above. From that, whatever the minimum SDK you have selected to the above one. So as we have already selected Android 11, so it will select Android 11 and above, like 12, 13, 14 and onwards. So let's try to define a name. As we are creating an application for playing a ringtone, so let's just have an application name as playRingtone. Here you can have the package name currently. Now I have it me.tejasg.playring, but yeah, in future you can change it from the Gradle files. Now let's click on finish. Once you click on finish, your project will get synced with the Gradle. So here our project has been synced with the Gradle, and we can see that we do have main activity.kt file. Let me just give you an overview of how our file hierarchy or file structure look like. You may know like the XML, we do had XML, like when we try to build with the XML design, at that time like we will be having some XML files. But currently, as we are using JetCompose, so we don't have it. It is in the main activity.kt file itself. So here on the left, we are in the app folder. So inside app, definitely we do have Java, manifest, and our resources. So you might aware what are the resources. Resources are nothing but where we do have our images, strings, our values, and like whatever the resources, like whatever the content we'll be using in our application, we'll be storing those things here. Now above in the Java, we do have 3 files. So 2 of them are for testing purposes, and one is mainly used for designing and implementing the functionality of application. So let's move with this, the first one. Inside that we do have UI.theme package. So this package has been already created by while our application has been creating, and this contain color, theme and type. So this is basically we are fragmenting our code by default and putting that into this package, so this can be used in our application. So in the color.kt, we do have already defined color by Android, so these are used somewhere in the main.activity or theme.kt file. And then in the type, we do have typography, like how the font, how the text style will be look like in our application. Now let's move to the theme, and let's go to the main activity.kt file then. So in the theme, we do have 2 type of themes defined, dark and light. So in the light, we do have used some of the color from color.kt, and also we do have used the typography from type.kd file as well, and those are combining together. We are creating a theme as below. So here you can see this is the composable annotation. We'll be looking at this on the main.activity.kd file, how this has been used. But yeah, here you can see how this material theme has been created with the help of color and typography here. So we do have this material theme widget which they have used, and inside this they have provided these parameters, and they have provided these values to these parameters which we have here. Okay, now let's move to main activity.kd file. So here we do have class main activity which is extending to the component activity, and we are overriding some functions of component activity class. Now let's look at the UI. What we have greeting, we have greeting preview. So unless I run the app, it is a little bit difficult to understand what is going on. Now let's try to run the application and let's see what we have on the screen. Let me just go to the device manager and open the emulator. As I have opened the emulator, let's try to run the application and let's see what we have in the application. So as you can see, we have run the application, and here we do have this hello Android. As we know, our application is working fine. Let's modify the things as per our requirement. As we want to use a service, with the help of that we need to create two buttons which can help us to play the ringtone, and one of them can be used to stop the ringtone. And this will be the simple application, so don't expect much from this. So let's try it. Let me just remove everything, create a function as per our requirement. Let me just create a home view here and pass this, which is we are passing the context, and this would be the composable. So function home view, just taking context, type is context, and here inside we'll be just importing this context. And inside home view we want two buttons to be here, one of them used to play and one of them used to stop the ringtone. So let's have a column, and this column will take full height. Let's say modifier dot max height. Let's say field max height, and then we'll say, as we want button in the center, so vertical arrangement will be arrangement dot center, and this column will have row. Let's fill the width for the row as well. So modifier is modifier dot fill max width. Again, as we want those two buttons in the centers and we want a space in between them, let's imagine like we do have two buttons, we want them in the center and we want a little bit space in between them. So let's say horizontal arrangement, so arrangement dot space evenly. As we want two buttons, let's use elevated button, and for text we'll be using play. And another one will be, so here we do have created an application which can display us two buttons. Now we just want to add the functionality to these two buttons. To create a service, we want to create a class which can extend to the service. So let's do that. Let's create a class here, class playRingtone, which will be extending to the service class. So as this is extending to the service class, there are some methods which we need to override. So let's implement them. So on bind we are not doing anything. On start command we'll be using this one, and on destroy. So when service start, this method will get called. When service get destroyed, this method gets called. Now let's try to define our player, which is the media player. So let's say let init var so player is equals to media player dot create. Here we'll need to pass the context, so this will be this, and URI. So URI will be in the settings, and then we'll be using system dot default ringtone URI. The media player need to play, so let's say player dot start. So now our media player will start playing once this method will get called. Now to stop the player, we can do player dot stop in the on destroy. So whenever the service got destroyed, this method will get called and our player will stop. Now let's go to home view, and here inside the home view, as we have already passed the context from the main activity, let's use that context, and with the help of this context, let's start our service. So context dot start service, and this service will need an intent, so let's add intent here, and this intent will also require the context, so pass the context at first, and then we'll be calling our playRingtone class.java. So this will call our service to play the ringtone, and let's copy this and paste it here, and instead of start the service, let's use stop service. So let's say stop service, and we have passed the same intent. Now let's try to rerun our application and let's see whether it works or not. So as you can see, nothing is happening. It's because I intentionally made a mistake to understand that whatever the service we are defining, those should be in the Android manifest.xml file. Now let's go to the XML file, let's define the service, and let's rerun the application. So here we have mentioned the service which we have created, playRingtone. So once we have mentioned this in Android manifest.xml, we can use it in the application. Now let's restart the application. So here let's try to play the application. I hope you guys are able to hear this. So as you can see, our application is working fine. Now if I try to stop it, it got stopped. So that's it for this video. If you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comment. If you like the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe.